And today we're going to be looking at how to get your beds ready for winter. Now around our garden a lot of things are still actually producing, but there are a few beds that are getting ready to just be bedded down for the winter time. We've got an order for some compost coming. Now we've actually left 2 of our tomato plants to keep producing because they're still producing and they were looking really healthy. But most of our tunnel house, if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. It was a bit of a jungle, but we have cleared out pretty much all the tomato plants. Pulled out the few weeds that were growing in here, and we managed to get a big bin. Most of those are green tomatoes. Unfortunately the tomato plants were just starting to fail, so we've picked them. I'll make some green tomato chutney or something, I suppose. And these are my cherries. They're still doing really well. We've picked all the red ones off, that's why they look quite green, but they're doing really well. And this little plant over here, I've just left it to ripen the last of its fruit as well. So in here, my plan for tucking the tunnel house in, what we're going to do actually is lift all this weed mat up, take the water lines out and put in a whole lot more compost, and put some wood mulch in the pathways just to try and level it out, because at the moment it's really lumpy gumpy and that water line doesn't work very well because it's on such lumpy soil. Some of the plants were getting really wet, and I think that's why they started to get mildew issues and were starting to rot out. So what we have done, because you can't feed your tomato leaves to your chickens, we've plopped them in the garden here, and we're just going to crush those down. That garden bed was empty. It had onions and garlic in it, so I'm just going to crush those down and cover them with a good layer of compost, and then we will put one of our tarps over the top and weight it down so that it will all break down over the winter time, and it will be ready to plant in come spring, which will be great. And we've done the same. This is all tomatoes in here as well that we've just crushed down, except for there's like a broccoli plant there, and another one there, and another one at this end. So that was kind of bad planning to put those broccolis in there that aren't quite ready yet, but anyway, if I had a big compost heap area, I'd put all those greens into the compost heap, but I don't actually have one set up here yet, so we're just composting in place. And I'll put this tarp down over the top and put some tyres on, which will help keep the moisture in, help encourage the worms to come up and do their bidding, do what they do best. And this corn will all be broken down before springtime, which I'll show you in springtime. If you want this to break down faster, you just need to cut it into smaller pieces. But we've got, what is it now, April, May, June, July, August, September, probably 5 months before we'll start planting anything in here again, which is plenty of time for it to get broken down. We use car tyres because we can get them for free, and you'll probably find that wherever you are you can too. And these tarps that we've got down here are actually, they're old billboard signs that we got. We traded a box of beer for a few of them from a guy that his job is to put them up and take them down. That works well for us, cost us very little money. You can buy silage tarps and put those down, and buy sandbags and put those down, but for us this works, and it was free, or close enough to free. So this garden bed down here, we're actually going to pull out pretty much all the greens out of there. So what I'm going to do is just snap the leaves off, and I'll leave the leaves in the ground, and we'll just take the roots. The leaves will just compost down on the ground. This one's off for a walk. The best thing about this no-till gardening is that actually pulling these things out is really easy. Previously, we've grown on clay and used to till a lot, and the ground was so hard that the parsnips would snap off rather than coming out. Not a bad harvest from 2 little rows of parsnip. Some of these are absolutely massive. Look at this guy. Now in this bed you can see these kales have all been eaten to pieces by those bloomin' butterfly worms, but they are coming back up with some fresh growth. So we're actually going to leave those, at least for now. We'll leave them for now, and so hopefully that'll give us some kale to use over the winter. If they don't produce well, I'm just going to cover that whole bed up as well, but this in theory should have my cabbages in it. My cabbages just haven't done very well this year. We had all sorts of bothers with them, I think because this compost wasn't very well broken down when we got it. So we'll just leave it be. So most of my garden beds, I've got that one to tuck down, and this one I'm going to chuck a tarp over it just to try and wilt those tomatoes down a wee bit better. But yeah, that's what we do to tuck our garden beds down for the winter. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing to our channel. We bring you videos twice a week on growing and preserving your own food. We'll see you in the next one.